would love for us to now talk about the Rugby World Cups. Now, you've been involved in the 2007 Rugby World Cup as well as the 2019 Rugby World Cup. What was the two massive differences for you, and which one would you say you would put at the top of your list in terms of those memorable moments?
Yeah, I think that pretty much, and I've said this quite often, is 2007 and 2019 were very similar in a lot of ways, because we were away from home, we were in a foreign country. You know, in 2003, 2011, and 2015, we were in countries that speak English. That the English languages, whereas 2007 and 2019, you know, in France they speak French, and in Japan that they speak Japanese predominantly. But so those were challenges that we had to overcome. As a team, we learned key phrases, like hello and arigato, gozaimasu, thank you, which means thank you, and we learned different things to help us and to sort of endear ourselves to the people, which we did, and the team did that. So there were a lot of similarities, being away from home, being far from home. The support from the country was amazing. In 2007, we didn't have the digital age, so I used to get faxes, put the faxes up all over the team room. Now we had the digital age. In 2019, we had our sponsor FNB had a video screen, and every day they'd upload different messages. So there would be that instant thing. So there were a lot of similarities, and the coaches, as I said to you, Jake White and 𝗀ecie𝗰𝗶𝗹 are amazing coaches and visionaries, and no detail is too small for them. So there were a lot of similarities, and I almost felt like calmness in Japan in the week of the final, because I knew that this was very similar and it was going to happen again. And I almost looked for little signs that this was gonna happen. In 2007, the Eiffel Tower was lit in green and gold, quite by chance. But I saw this and I made Jake take the team. We drove past it, and this was like a sign. In 2019, our media room was lit up in green and gold, and I found this is like a sign and something that this is going to happen now. So, being away from home, you do look for those little things, and they were different parts of the world, but very similar, and the outcome was the same, which was great.
Definitely. I would love to take you back to Japan. I think the one thing that we as the media and South African fans saw a lot from the Japanese nation is they truly fell in love with the Springboks, and they supported them, and they were there to watch some of the training sessions as well. How did that feel for the squad and for you being behind the scenes as well, to just have a nation fall in love with the team? Because you talk about being outside your comfort zone, and maybe just that additional support helped the lads during the 2019 Rugby World Cup.
Well, it did, and we arrived in Japan 2 weeks before any other team, which I think helped us a lot. And we sort of thought, wow, the Japanese people have fallen in love with us, and we are the only team. And then we'd see on TV, well, they were also at the All Blacks. There were 5,000 people at the All Blacks training, and at England training there were 6,000 people. So what that actually said was that Japan as a nation just embraced the Rugby World Cup and a global event and a global sporting event. And they learned the anthem, they learned, about your country. So wherever you went in each sort of region and prefecture, they call it, you felt really special, and you felt that they did fall in love with you, but they actually supported all the teams. But then as the tournament progressed, the teams that fell out, you sort of felt more of that support. And we really felt that, Japan was the number one team, and when we beat Japan, they actually were supporting us. But, I'm sure England felt the same way as well. But the Japanese people are amazing. They are humble. They are interested in you. They love learning about your country. If you make an effort with them, they will make an effort with you. And we absolutely loved being in Japan, and it's a place that I know that I will visit again. I would love to have gone to the Olympics this year if there were people allowed. But I can't speak highly enough of the Japanese people.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. I would love now for us to talk about Springbok debuts. I think we've already spoken about those that have reached the 100 cap mark, but a Springbok debut is incredibly special. I think every single young lad in South Africa would love to don the green and gold. Take us maybe through one or two Springbok debuts that really stand out for you across your journey.
So the one that I can remember, because it was just such a tense one, is we were in Perth, and Adrian Strauss was called into the Springbok camp, and Adrian was actually in Pretoria, and I got hold of him, and we had to get him to Perth. And there was obviously an injury, or I can't remember, all that stuff, but there was obviously an injury and we had to get him there. And he said to me, well, my passport's in Bloem. So I got his mom's number, I got his mom to go to his flat, I got his mom to get his passport. I phoned the airline SAA. They got a pilot that was flying from Bloem. His mom gave the passport to the pilot, who took it to Joburg. Adrian got on a flight. We had to, he had to go. There wasn't a direct flight, so he had to go via Hong Kong to get to Perth. I met him at the airport, and he then made his debut that weekend, and that was, very special. And we sort of laugh about that. Adrian went on to be a Springbok captain, who I worked with, and we sort of always laugh about that one. So that was quite a memorable one. And then the other one that I can sort of really remember recently was 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃, who made his debut in 2018, just before we went to New Zealand. And 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 had sent one team over to New Zealand to sort of acclimatize and train, and some conditioning coaches with them. So, and we stayed behind and played Australia. And 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 made his debut. He scored a try, and and it was great. And we were leaving that night after that match for New Zealand. So we had 20 minutes after the match to get showered and changed and everything. And 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃's family, I'd helped him get his family up, and his girlfriend and everyone from Cape Town. I madly dashed them, took them through the Ellis Park, into the change room. They did his capping. His parents were in the change room. Everyone was getting sort of like, getting changed. It was a mad dash, a 5-minute capping. But that was a memorable one, because it just showed, it was so special to have his family there. He'd scored a try. We'd beaten Australia, and he was now going off to New Zealand for the first time with the Springboks.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. And those are some of the logistics and the stories behind the scenes that we never get to hear about. So thank you. You're locked onto the Sport MBT Insider, a podcast for unrelenting coverage of women in sport. Coming up this Friday, our athletes, coaches, and administrators answer the questions that you have always wondered about. If you haven't sent through your questions yet, just slide into our DMs, tell us your name, where you're from, and leave your questions, and we will make sure that we ask them. Keep it locked onto Sport MBT, where we celebrate women in sport.